What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Grady and I listen to country music and whatever else I want to. And today we're doing just a big single roundup. Just a bunch of songs that you guys have been saying, you should listen to this, you should listen to this, or things that I've heard, and I just want to kind of aggregate them in one video. Kind of playing catch up with this video because I was traveling for so much of June, but now that I'm back, I want to just, touch a lot of different things. So let's get into it. First one up is Midland's Put the Hurt on Me.
Yeah, baby, put the hood on me.
I love this song. I love the sound of it. It is lush and musical, and you got the steel and you got the fiddle, and I think you've got a really gorgeous harmony happening all throughout the song. This is like my favorite Midland song ever. Now, I don't think it has the super catchy hook that you might need, something like Make a Little or something like Drinking Problem, but I think it's the prettiest thing that they've ever released. I freaking love it, and I've completely turned the page on being worried about Midland's authenticity, and now I'm just into it. I like the sound that they're doing. It is part of this whole 90s country revival, and I'm so here for it. Next up is Justin Moore's The Ones That Didn't Make It Back Home.
Shut down, the whole town showed up, sang Amazing Grace.
Now this is a song about caring for the troops, and specifically the people that lost their lives fighting. And it is about kind of the town coming together and watching the slides, and just it's paying respects to the fallen soldiers. This is the first single from his upcoming album, Late Nights and Long Necks. This album's gotten delayed because this song didn't really hit, and they've actually been slowly rolling out music from it, and all of it sounds awesome. Like, all of it sounds awesome. I love the song On the Rocks that came out like a few weeks ago. Everyone's got to be kicking themselves that they didn't come up with the idea of talking about a relationship being on the rocks and then pouring your whiskey on the rocks. Jesus and Jack Daniels isn't a really good song. Someday I Gotta Quit is a good song. A lot of lonesome drinking songs on this record, but I think this record's going to be really awesome. And the ones that didn't make it back home, it has a really nice kind of balance of contemporary production and traditionalness, and I think it's cool to make a song for our troops. We live in the freest country that has ever been on Earth, and I know that's not always cool for people to say right now, but it's true, and so I don't mind some patriotism in my music. I truly don't. Then let's talk about Chris Young's Drowning.
How you were taken way too soon. It ain't the same.
Now this is a song that got really popular when his performance at SiriusXM went kind of viral. It was acoustic, he was crying, it's a song about death, and it's one of these songs that I almost wish I hadn't heard him play at first, because then when you heard the produced version, it was so overdone, and so the production was so overwrought.
I still call wait till the tone.
And there was not enough dynamics in it. It needed to be sparser. I mean, this is a song about death, and it feels like it's just getting produced as your standard kind of like country radio driving song with too much percussion and just too much generally happening. I feel like it robs his voice of its tenderness and its crooniness, and it didn't serve the song well. So for me, Drowning was really ruined by its production, and I want Chris Young. I loved, when he was making stuff like You and Neon, that whole era. That was a good era for Chris Young, and he's fallen into this kind of weird, cheesy rock sound. But lyrically, I think it's a good song, but it's hard to get past the production for me. Next up, I want to talk about Twang by Mason Ramsey.
But you love me for my twang.
Now, Mason Ramsey is Yodel Boy, if you want to refer to him by his meme name, but he has established himself very well and is now touring and playing shows as Mason Ramsey. He released a song called Famous that for a long time was my most disliked video on this channel before I talked about Old Town Road. People thought I was being a hater because I didn't like this song. I thought it was both too poppy, I thought it was age inappropriate, as I did for a lot of songs in the EP. But Twang, I think, much more closely hits the mark of exactly what Mason Ramsey should be doing and trying to parlay his kind of Lil Hank Williams yodely memeness into a career. There's a little bit of yodel in the chorus. Twang. That's my approximation of what happens in the chorus. But he does that, and I think it sounds like the right balance of this kind of contemporary pop sound and this old croonery sound. So I feel like that needed to happen on the EP, and it didn't, and I'm glad we're getting to it now, just for the logical continuity of who Mason Ramsey is. But I think the song is sweet. I think it's, now it's been a year maybe it's a little less weird to me that he's kind of singing some of these flirty songs, but I like that it's shouting out Hank. I feel like this is kind of the song that you needed to happen in order for him to turn the page on being Yodel Boy. So I find it just kind of charming and harmless. And a lot countryer than his EP. Okay, next up, I Hope by Gabby Barrett. Now, Gabby Barrett is a contestant that came in 3rd place on American Idol behind Maddie Poppy, who I've talked about, and Caleb Lee Hutchinson, who has a new EP out as well. But Gabby Barrett is really making inroads in the country world. She released a song called I Hope independently that has become quite successful on its own, and now she's just gotten signed to Warner. So she's going to be a big major label artist now, and they're definitely going for a kind of Before He Cheats vibe with this song, I Hope, where she's listing all the things that she hopes happen to this guy. I hate the sound of this song. It feels just too loud, like she's shouting at me. I don't like how her voice sounds on this song. Yeah, I think there's just too much layering on her voice, and I think that it's kind of just feels a lot more like an R&B song to me than a country song, and I get that people like the whole woman scorned thing, but it's just not my favorite. But hey, I think we might have a little Carrie Underwood 2.0 situation on our hands with Gabby Barrett, which is kind of cool to see a girl independently come up. I will say that. I gotta respect that hustle. Next up is Jon Pardi's Ain't Always the Cowboy.
It ain't always the cowboy.
Now, I've already talked about Heartache Medication, the first single from Jon Pardi's upcoming album, but this is the second, and it is doubling down on the fiddle, and I freaking love to see that. I love that Jon Pardi is just like, I'm gonna make fiddle my thing. This record is gonna be cool. I don't think either of these songs have the kind of super smash potential of something like Head Over Boots or something like Heartache on the Dance Floor, but they're gorgeous. They're lush. I think Ain't Always the Cowboy is actually a much prettier song than Heartache Medication. It's kind of a song almost written in response to The Cowboy Rides Away, or maybe written in response to Space Cowboy, but it's about how there's a kind of popular narrative that cowboys just want to move on from relationships, but maybe it's the girl that wants to leave. Maybe she's the free spirit. It ain't always the cowboy. And I think that's a really cool conceit for a song, and I think it's pulled off really well. I am so excited for this Jon Pardi record. It comes out in September, and I just think it's going to be great. He's like one of the 4 horsemen of like it's not the country apocalypse, it's the opposite. It's like the Revelation or something. And he's like bringing back this country sound, him and Luke Combs and Riley Green and Midland, and it's freaking cool to see. At the same time, we got things like the Get Up, so maybe it's one of those things like Paul Simon says, the nearer your destination, the more you're slip sliding away. Like country music's going kind of crazy, and so long as that traditional sound comes back and there's people popularly making it and it's getting popularly distributed, I don't really care about all the other stuff. I just want it to be available. And during the bro country kind of decade, there was one sound available. And so long as there's a multiplicity of sounds available, I feel like everyone can win. Quick pause just to say a shout out to our sponsor, Ridge Wallet. Ridge, they've been sponsoring the channel for a while now, and they make these awesome, minimalist aluminum wallets. So if you're using a big, bulky, fat leather wallet, you're carrying around half this stuff that you don't even need to be carrying around, the Ridge really is a good solution for you. If you still want to carry a card, like a little loyalty card or some money, you can do that with the clip on the back, but you can just put your cards in here and they can fan out, and it just sort of simplifies things. It's RFID blocking, and it doesn't bulk up your pants and create just kind of just ugly lumps where you don't want them, you know? It's just sleek, small. So you can get 10% off using my code, or you can go to ridgewallet.com/Grady. That's all gonna be linked down below. But thanks for sponsoring the video, you guys. And now back to the roundup. Next up is a new one from a girl named Ingrid Andress. It's called More Hearts Than Mine.
Pack a shirt for church because we'll go.
This is a really beautiful song that a number of you had sent to me and said, you really think I should check out. And typically, so many songs get sent to me that, you know, just one request, I don't have time to listen to all those. So I start to kind of sense a critical mass of, wow, a lot of people are sending me this. A lot of people have mentioned this band. And with More Hearts Than Mine, that was definitely the case. When I finally checked it out, I was really blown away by the clarity of Ingrid Andress's voice. She doesn't have some like super weird voice. She has a really clear, pristine, beautiful voice. And the gorgeousness of the lyric. I thought this was an interesting song. It was about getting broken up with, but wanting this guy to realize that if he is to do that, if he is to break up with her, she has a whole family that she's very close to. Her mother loves her, her father is protective, and he's going to be breaking more hearts than just hers, more hearts than mine. And I think that was an interesting concept that I'd never really heard a breakup song do. So I liked the creativity of it, and I would love to see this become a hit, and it seems like it might actually be happening. Then we got Cole Swindell's Drinking Hours.
Been watching that clock tick tock all day.
Now, I was really encouraged by Cole Swindell's last record. I thought, wow, this is a major step in the right direction, but Drinking Hours, to me, it's just nothing interesting. It's just one of these songs that some guy that has been drinking Coronas since 10 a.m. and is sitting on the golf course all red-faced and goofy-looking, that it's a song for someone that doesn't want to think critically about music. Now, I don't want to shame that. There's a place for that kind of music, but it's just so unsubstantive. There's nothing really to say about this song. It feels lazy, juvenile. There's no story. But who knows? Maybe these songs are kind of responding to some deep pain about the work week, and it's just an escape for some people. But that's not really what I go to music for, just to turn off my brain. Or at least not always. And I guess when Cole Swindell does it, it feels like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, okay, of course one of the bros is just being a bro. I also want to talk about Tyler Childers' All Your'n.
Long before we ever met, I made up my...
Now this song is, like I talked about with Drowning, how I heard the live version first and it kind of killed the studio version. I get the sense that that happened with this Tyler Childers song. I know he's been playing it on tour for a long time, and a lot of people were annoyed that the production of it, of this sweet little love song, sounded kind of Motown-y and this sort of new vintage sound. But I loved it. If I have a criticism of Tyler Childers' music, it's that it can feel a little one note, a little too angry, and like he's hollering, and I think that works very well, obviously, kind of for this Appalachian sound. Everything sounds like White House Road, but I think where Feathered Indians really succeeds is that it's a little bit prettier of a melody. And I think All Yourn's a way prettier melody. It's like a wedding song melody. But I find it really appealing, and it's a different kind of note in his catalog. I like how lovely this song is because the lyrics are lovely, and it's not angry, and so I think it should sound sweet. And I really respect that he took the chance. I think it sounds really, really good, and since I first heard it, it's kept growing on me. I'm like, man, you take the power of Tyler Childers' voice, and I think some people just want it to be not adulterated by a lot of sound. You know, that is what I just said about Chris Young. But when he doesn't have a song like it in his catalog, I actually really welcome this experimentation, and I think it pulls it off really, really well. I think it's a great song. Then we got Dive Bar by Garth Brooks.
I wanna spend the weekend in the deep end of the dive bar.
I think this is a fun song. Not a ton to say about it. You know, Garth just seems to be going real straight down the middle with this whole record. I mean, even just calling it fun, which I'll never get over. Fun by Garth Brooks. It will always remind me of Jeb as just kind of a sort of out of touch, sort of lame seeming dad title. But Dive Bar is a fun song. I like the hook a lot that says, I want to spend the weekend in the deep end of a dive bar. I like that kind of play on words, channeling the deep end of the pool, channeling that Sharks and Minnows moment. You know, this song, I don't know where you can go hear it because maybe it's on Amazon already, but I know he only premiered it with radio. It features Blake Shelton. It's very fun. Blake's having a good freaking summer between God's Country and this, and I like it. Big Big Plans by Chris Lane. This is his song that they're kind of spinning off from his engagement to Lauren Bushnell, who was a Bachelor contestant. And it's hard for me to separate the marketing around the song from the song itself. It's just kind of your standard bombastic Nashville kind of pop country song. I think the lyric is fine, but I never like when people sort of parlay their personal life into their career life, and I'm probably naive to think that shouldn't happen. You know, it's not like Miranda and Blake didn't do it, and it's not like Tim and Faith didn't do it, and it's not like George and Tammy didn't do it. You can create intrigue from your personal life, so I get that, but it still feels a little icky to me. I mean, I didn't love when Scotty McCreery did it with his This Is It video even. I just think that it sort of cheapens both the music and the actual engagement because it makes it all feel like a marketing tool. So I need to listen to that song a few more times. I just kind of got the influencer ickies. That's what I'll call it. The Get Up is something that a lot of you guys want me to talk about.
Gonna do the two-step, then cowboy boogie.
And I have a whole video shot that'll come out later. I don't think it's the hill that I'm gonna die on. I also don't think it's particularly country. I'm also just, I'm kind of over the whole deconstruct country music debate kind of thing. I don't get that much satisfaction out of just flying in the face of traditions, but some people do. Riley Green.
She's probably in love by now. A girl like that.
This isn't even like one single I'm going to be talking about, but his whole EP. I like what Riley Green is doing. I don't think we've heard kind of the moment from him, but I think there is a really nice balance of accessible songwriting, sing-alongable melodies, and just kind of a cool vibe from him. He kind of feels like, you know, a bedfellow maybe of like Morgan Wallen. They're going for a sort of cheaper aesthetic. I saw Riley Green's video with the Opry where he's rocking just kind of a dirty mustache, and I know he worked in construction, and I think like the In Love by Now and There Was This Girl both have a real nice, that kind of 90s country sound that's very instrumental, not all snap-tracked. There's a really nice sentimental song called Numbers on the Cars about kind of his grandfather and Alzheimer's, and I like what he's doing. He's on my radar. A lot of you guys have said, talk about Riley Green. There, I talked about Riley Green. And the last thing I want to mention is not even in the country music world, but it's the Lumineers and their 3 songs that they've released from their upcoming album.
Gloria, I smell it on your
This upcoming album is going to be a concept album about family, and the first 3 songs are all about kind of the first generation, this woman named Gloria Sparks. And guys, I'm telling you, these are the 3 best music videos I've ever seen. I think Gloria might be the best music video I've ever seen. This is a troubling story about a woman who is an addict and the ways that she is kind of reliving the sins of her mother and that she's passing them on to her children, and she's ruining her family's life and the mistakes that she's making. But it's done with real pathos, it's done with gorgeous music, and sometimes music that's kind of almost driving and celebratory and festive in the face of these kind of really dark songs about addiction. But you just gotta go watch the Gloria video and then get into the kind of whole story that's happening. You start to piece together, oh, this video comes before this one. I hope they're gonna put out all 10 music videos for each of the songs on this record, because I can't wait to see what they do next. I'm shocked that we all, you know, go back 6 or 7 years and we thought the Lumineers were chasing Mumford & Sons. We thought they were just another band in suspenders chasing this kind of Americana folk pop trend. We were wrong. The Lumineers are becoming one of the best bands that's out there right now. They have a real dedication to the aesthetics around their songs, and I just had to rave about that because, guys, those videos are amazing. Go do yourself a favor and go watch the first 3 videos from this album, and then let's all keep following them as it comes out, because they could be making a masterpiece right here. I don't know if you're someone that likes kind of thinking about story work and your own life and family and all that. I love that stuff, and I love their music, so it's good. So those are a bunch of the songs that you guys have asked me to cover, and I just wanted to touch base on a lot of them. I'll try and timestamp that, and let me know what other songs you're really loving right now, okay? Because there's so much good country music coming out, and I have always a lot of it to listen to. So that's it from me today, guys. I will talk to you later.